Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me, Matt from Diazable, coming at you with another album review. And today we're checking out the band And with their new album, The Sin of Human Frailty. A little background on this band is they are a somewhat of a super group, people want to say, but they're just a group of talented individuals, I would say. They play a style of blackened hardcore, as I've seen online, and that kind of summarizes them pretty well. They're not really grindcore, or anything like that, or like metalcore or stuff. They're just really heavy, but like with some weird elements to them. Yeah, even though they're called a supergroup, but they do have members from Counterparts, Fit for an Autopsy, Reign Supreme, and whatnot in this band, and X Misery Signals and every. That was really dick of me. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me, Matt from Diazable, coming at you with another album review. And today we're checking out the band End with their album, The Sin of Human Frailty. A little background on this band is they are a super group, you could say, comprised of people from Counterparts, Misery Signals, Reign Supreme, Fit for an Autopsy, etc. They are very well established musicians in the hardcore scene. And this is considered like a hardcore album, but it's more what I've been seeing online. It's considered more like black and hardcore, and I feel that describes this band pretty well and whatnot, because they're extremely heavy with really like disjointed and dissonant sounding like guitars and drums and everything, and just sounding really wild compared to typical hardcore music. There's a lot of rawness here, I would say. So let's check out this new album from End. A predator yourself. Really tight and fast drummings with this opening track, and then the guitar work is very typical in terms of End style, with it being really high pitched and very chaotic, and not typical playing. They're not just simple chugs. They got a lot of scaling and using lots of different chords and whatnot. Like, they're very erratic. The vocals have a very large and engulfing sound to them. Like, they cast a whole like shadow over your ears, and you just hear them fully and whatnot. Mm.
Even when you're gone, I'll tell them my religion's you and punctures.
Wounds of Earth. The transition from the opening to this song is like super clean. You don't even notice that the songs just merge together. It's probably the cleanest transition I've ever heard. The guitars have like a really staticky sound to them and whatnot, and they just sound really heavy, especially compared to the opening song. Everything is just turned up really heavy on this, and the drums are fast and tight. The guitars, they have a weird groovy feel to them. I guess I want to say lots of dissonant sounding guitars. Like, it just has a weird sound to it, the guitars, but in a good way. And the bass is layered in right in the middle of the track and whatnot, where it's like playing very nice. It has a nice dirty sound to it. And as the song goes along, I see why they chose it as a single, because it's a very large and echoey and big song. It lets you know that, oh, End is here. The Sin of Human Frailty. Faster and more chaotic on this song in terms of song structure and whatnot. There's like an eerie like background noise that I can't figure out, but it's like adding a little bit of like fun like texture to the song. It like feels more fleshed out. Guitars sound really raw and sharp here. They really pierce in the ears, and the vocals consistently sound what was it full. Like, he just sounds like he's fully capturing his vocals very well on this track. Thaw. This song is so surprising with how it starts out with some real hazy electronic sounding guitars, I guess. And then there's some like industrial size sound coming from the drums and everything. Reminds me of like Code Orange and whatnot. There's some really gnarly like metal bangs in the background and whatnot. And then just the electronic drums they just really put you in a trance. And midway through the song, it kind of gets really soft with the vocals. I mean, soft with the instruments, but the vocals are still going hard in a weird way. Then there's like a feature from a female artist. I think her name is Debbie Gao, and she just comes in nicely and just adds so much to the song and whatnot. The lyrics are great and flow very well. This might be my favorite song of the album, might be my favorite end song of all time, possibly, just because it's so mind-blowingly different. So here's a clip of Thaw. Such tight drumming, such weirdness to it. I love it. Embodiment of Grief starts off slow and very doomy like, and then it moves into classic end style with the hecticness and just chaoticness that they bring to their songs. There's some also like sirens in the background early on in the song that just catch me off guard a bit, and they're like, whoa, sound pretty cool. The drums still going really hard, really good, and overall, like, they're just playing really hard and heavy here. The track just feels heavy, and it makes more sense now since I found out recently that this song has some lore to it, which is it's kind of like a sequel to the Counterparts song Whispers of Your Death. Since the lead singer's cat passed away, this is him dealing with his grief of his cat passing away. So it has very, very deep sentimental value to it, I guess. And like the grief is really strong here, and that's I think why the song feels so heavy. So here's a little clip of Embodiment of Grief. See, there's that siren in the background adding some extra flair to the song. Twice Devoured Kill. Crunchy and heavy guitars here with very, very disjointed drumming. But I will say the style is very, very mathcore, like reminds me of Dillinger Escape Plan, which kind of makes sense with how crazy they are and whatnot. The feature on here sounds good with the music being played at the time the feature comes in and everything. It melds very nicely. And then midway through the song, they like slow it down and then just bring it back in a smooth way. Like it's a pretty cool like dip and then right back up with the heaviness. The ending is a bit of a mess with the guitars and the large vocals, causing some weird tension within me, but it's still a pretty good song. Worthless is the Lamb. This has a feature from the Full of Hell vocalist. I think his name is Dylan Walker. I can say this might be his year because he's featured on so many songs throughout this year and whatnot. He's been just everywhere. I will say though, the track has a lot of the same old drumming and guitar riffing from the band. So I was about to feel like, say it's a bit repetitive, but with how intense and how groovy they sound, you kind of like forget how slightly repetitive it is because it just sounds so intense and you just can't help but pay attention to it. Especially as it goes further and further into the heaviness, it comes off kind of even black metal-y with how black metal style with the vocals and how some of the guitar sounds. So they keep pushing it like to other like boundaries that you weren't expecting or whatnot with this album and what. Hollow Urn. It starts off with some really creepy style like hi-hat hits and like a horn blasting in the background, and then like the guitars kind of just creep on in, and it reminds me of like a horror flick in terms of the build-up and whatnot. You think it's going to be a heavy song, but they keep it pretty light and mesmerizing and hypnotic, which is how like the sound of the guitars and all the instruments coming together, and then Brandon's vocals coming in sounding very creepy and whatnot. It just really makes me think of like, is this what Code Orange was trying to go for in their newest album? Because there's a lot of industrial elements and like weird, creepy elements and alternative styles that they're using here that I was expecting more in the Code Orange album that dropped this year. But they're really bringing some heaviness with just how different they're playing here on this album. Like they're sounding sonically heavy with their instruments, but also at times atmospherically very heavy. So here's a little clip of Hollow Urn. Ooh, Infest. They're really good at switching up the styles here with bringing in like their signature like guitars and like heaviness, but then doing some lighter stuff and then bringing it back to heavy style playing here. So it makes it a very interesting listen. This new album from End. The drumming on this song kind of reminds me a little bit of Harm's Way in terms of how he's playing the drum rolls and whatnot, because they sound very similar, but in a great way and not in like a copying kind of way. The bass sounds really good here, just really thick and laying it down pretty well. They're coming really hard with their performances here and we're coming up with some fresh ideas because N could be just crazy intense and like chaotic and just noise at times, but like I think they're really trying to switch it up a little bit and show some uh, diversity in their sonic sound and whatnot. So yeah, Leopard. The guitar tuning here is much lighter in terms of the rest of the album. A lot of variety on the drums in terms of playing and play style. And they've got more doom elements here, which sound pretty good. They incorporate them pretty well. Overall, it's a slow burn of a song. And then when it gets to that breakdown at the end, it really slaps. And especially accompanied by that heavy and dirty bass. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on the new End album. And I think they have really, really worked up to this moment in their career for this band because it's very rare where a band can just elevate with each release, and this one takes it to a whole nother level, which is how intense it sounds with the skull crushing vocals, the like intense guitar riffs and chugs, and then the switching up of styles from doomy to industrial to like ambient, like creepy ambience and whatnot. There's a lot of variety here that they don't usually do, but I think it's led up to this point where they've been just intense, 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 and they're switching up a little bit, but being heavy, not just in like sound wise, but lyrically and atmospherically and everything. They're really bringing the intensity here. The bass is just nice and mixed in well and whatnot. The drumming is tight. The production sounds amazing and whatnot. The features come in really hard and everything. There's really like nothing. There's very little I can complain about this album. Maybe a little bit disjointed at times with the drumming. I just said it was tight, but I guess at times it was a little bit messy. And then maybe there was some guitar work, the guitar transitions and stuff, not the best, but they were just so minor that you don't even notice them because this album is like very, very, very nicely made. It is like possibly, I don't know, it's their best album, but if they like stopped being a band and ended on this, if ended on this, it'd be a really high note to end on. But yeah, they killed it on this album, and I want to say this album from End is a good, solid 9 out of 10. Yeah. Links down below. Check out the band and check out their other bands such as Counterparts, Fit for an Autopsy, Misery Signals, Reign Supreme. They've got a million bands under their belt, but check them all out. Thanks for coming by. I am Matt. I appreciate you guys watching this and submitting and commenting and liking. So till next time, bye.